Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out,
Wow.
what they do well. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? I mean, they, I mean, they don't really have a guy that's like leading the league in anything right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what I look at. I mean, obviously, we know, the offensive firepower they got. Even Jordan Addison is a guy who, who he's a threat, but he's been quiet a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like sort of like JMO, where he'll strike and then he'll be quiet for one one and a half quarters. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But I agree with you, Walt. I think the Lions can beat this team, man. When it comes down to it, because I just don't think, man. I just don't think the Vikings are better than the Lions. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I get the 76 points against, which does mean something. You know what I mean? Brian Flores, like you said, you've been drumming that drum, since he got there. The defense is noticeable to me, but I don't feel like this is a team like that's going to put up a brick wall and we can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a team that does allow. I think I had it here in front of me here. They give up they've given up a lot of yards. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the ranking in front of me, but they've given up somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 yards already of total offense. So which means is they tighten up during near the goal line, but I do think that they they can be had. Yards is going to be, and then if you give Jameer Gibbs some space, if you give Jameson Williams space, I think that's going to be their downfall, man. And then two, I think offensively on their end,
I'm glad you said that too.
if if we bait them into thinking, okay, we're this juggernaut offense, which I'm afraid that they may think that. I think our secondary is eons better than it was last year. And if they try to throw the ball all over the place, it's going to be curtains, man. I don't think they can do it. I mean, that's just me. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some big play. No one can cover Justin Jefferson. I don't care. You put two guys on him, but
Mhm.
I don't think they can run it effectively enough to get us off their ass a little bit. That's how I feel about it. I don't know, man. You tell me what you guys think, but I
Lamar,
I
Yeah.
spirits.
yeah.
What what pop out to me, man, is that they rank near the bottom of sacks allowed. So they're top 10 in sacks allowed with 15, and now we only allow 10. So I'm just trying to see who's going to step up to get that pressure. But I feel like our defense versus them is like that's going to be the bigger story, especially with Aiden Hutchinson out. Right now, as it stands, the Lions rank eighth in points allowed per game, 13th in yards allowed per game, fourth in interceptions, but they're 27th in passing yards per game, third in rushing yards per game, like given up. And opponent third down conversion is 26 or 29.6, and the red zone percentage is 46.7. I think everybody's going to look at that defense and see what they can do, especially with minus Aiden Hutchinson. That's going to be a bigger story because our offense, I feel like, is going to do the job. Like Shanti said, I don't feel like they're better than us on offense, but I do feel like there is going to be something that has to really sway. It has to be turnovers because they give up a lot of turnovers. So we gotta really exploit that. Sam Darnold he's been covered up a little bit with this defense, but I think both defenses are going to be the story of the week for real.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Joe,
Yeah, I think when you look at these two teams, like especially offensively for the Vikings and defensively for the Lions, obviously you got to start with the safeties that the Detroit Lions have. Because like here's a stat that people should know. So the Lions defense, the Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, they've allowed 2 receptions for 5 yards and 7 targets faced as the nearest defender. They have 4 interceptions inside the red zone this year, and they were both top 2 in ball hawk rate, so which is pass defense or INT. Another person to kind of like think about is Amik Robertson. So his stats against Justin Jefferson are pretty eye opening. Justin Jefferson's only caught one ball against him out of 25 tries. One ball out of 25 tries, and that was for 12 yards. So, and then if you go to I got another stat here. If you don't blitz Sam Darnold, if you don't blitz Sam Darnold, he's 28th in passer rating. He has the second most interceptions when he's not facing a blitz. Yards per attempt is 22nd in the NFL. Completion percentage is 31st in the NFL. Basically, you just let him sit back there and throw where he wants to throw, and he's gonna make a mistake. That's basically what it's telling you. And Sam Darnold has thrown interception 4 or 5 games this year, and Detroit's had interception every game this year. My thought about this game is just simple: let Sam Darnold be Sam Darnold, because if you allow him to be Sam Darnold, you're not gonna have to do much. This Lions defense has a really good, way to create turnovers. You really don't need a pass rush this week, because when you let him be himself back there and just throw the ball wherever the hell he wants, it usually doesn't end up in a good spot for him. So that's what I think.
All right, so fellas, before we jump into some of the X's and O's standpoints of this show, what do you guys make of Jared Goff over the past 3 games? I know the first couple games of the season, he was looking kind of shaky. Started last season kind of shaky as well. I think it happens. Sometimes quarterbacks just start the season a little bit rusty. He's been pretty damn good the last 3 weeks, though. I know the Arizona game was still kind of not the prettiest win, but he still went 18 to 23, 20 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yardage just went up every game. Touchdowns went up. Those 18 completions seem to be the numbers. What do you guys make of Goff right now, and can this consistency and this hot streak continue? Because dude has completed at least 72% of his passes the last 3 games.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I like him a lot, especially in this game. Um, 155 passer rating against Seattle. No, back-to-back performances of 155 and 153. That's the first time since Drew Brees. Uh, man, he's scoring 89 points, or this offense is scoring 89 points in the last 2 outings. I mean, right now he went from being uncertain and unproven to I don't know, Seattle's trouncing Seattle and being looking good. That 18 number is where his sweet spot is 18, not 48. Okay, so if he's dropping back the pass 48 times, we're in a bad situation. But nah, I love Goff in this situation, as you mentioned before. The yards are there, everything is there for him to win. 315 against Dallas, 3 TDs. But there's no interceptions. There's no interceptions. So yeah, as long as this defense, as long as this offensive line, who ranks last in sacks, keeps him clean, I don't really expect him to be a problem. Like he won't be held back. He won't be golful.
Mhm.
Ashanti, what you think?
Yeah, I think Goff is doing Jared Goff things, man. I mean, this is right, just like Avery said, man. You know what I'm saying? This is right, the sweet spot for him, right where you need him to be, in the 20 attempt range, 20, 24, 25 attempts. That's a guy of his stature, his veteran ism, with this team that he brings. And I think
It
that
also
he
seems
had,
that's where he plays his most comfortable too. He
yep,
doesn't look as comfortable when those attempts are 33, 34, 35. He gets out
yeah.
of rhythm as well.
Yeah, and I'm more than confident that he's capable, of leading this team, man. That's not even the issue. It's just for me, I just want him to outplay Sam Darnold, which he's the better quarterback. He should outplay Sam Darnold in this game. I mean, that's what gives me the satisfaction. Just knowing that this offense was clicking, because let's be honest, I mean, against the Rams, against the Bucks, this offense started out the gate slow. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it was some issues. Laporta wasn't all the way healthy. They were trying to find out who was that third receiver going to be. Um, you know, I love the addition of Tim Patrick. I think that really right there is giving Goff another security blanket because I think he trusts him. Another guy right now, you can tell because he's going to him. Jameson Williams is. It seemed like that situation with him and JMO as ironed out. Like as far as his tendencies, his route running. You know where he's supposed to be, where Goff delivers the ball. You know what I mean? It just seems like right now is everything is right where Goff needs it to be. And I think in a game like this, he could go for a 300 burger, you know what I'm saying, this week. I mean, he hasn't done it yet this year. I think this is the game. A lot to Avery's point with Seattle, it showed me we were at that game and I didn't realize that he was 18 for 8. Like as the game was going on, you knew he was making plays, but you didn't think that he didn't have a
When you there
incompletion.
live, it's too much going on, man. You
Yeah.
inebriated by the $30 beers and the yelling behind your ears and the people bumping you left and right. So
Yeah.
yeah, you just caught up in too much when you watching the game there though.
Yeah, he's I more than man. Jared Goff has looked way comfortable in the pocket the last 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And when he does that, golf doing golf things, man. It can take this team to another level. And I think people are going to see this week because he's kind of the forgotten man. Let's be honest. I mean, when you talk about quarterbacks, I'm just talking about this year. I mean, it's more, uh, you know, the talk of Baker Mayfield, who rightfully so has played decent. You know what I'm saying? Inept, Bo Nix. Aaron Rodgers gets a lot of pub for doing nothing, pretty much. So I think Jared Goff is gonna kind of gain some steam this week, where people kind of know that like he's like, hey, I'm still here, I'm still a veteran. I mean, he's not a rah-rah type of guy that's loud or anything like that. But I think this game is going to speak volumes, man, to where he's at with his control level of this offense. I feel good about this week, man. I really do. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor of the Lions winning the game. I think our offense, rightfully so, is going to carry us to a victory this week, and because Goff is going to play well.
Joseph, call this man Joseph. Joseph. Can't hear you.
If you go back, it was somehow muted. All right,
sure,
whatever.
mics do that.
Anyways,
man.
you go. Yeah, I know those. Yeah, just touch it and it'll be like that. But if you go back over the two first meetings with the Tampa Bay and LA, it seemed like the Goff was kind of forcing it. He was trying to make himself look better with the contract extension. So I think he was pressing a little bit. And then the last 3 games, you started to see him become more comfortable in his own setting. You know what I'm saying? And what's really helped is like they're getting big plays from JMO, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery. And I just think that they're well balanced. And I think when the Lions offense is well balanced and they know they're well balanced, they're hard to stop. Because you got running backs going for 50 running rushing yards. You got Amon-Ra playing out of his mind. You got J-Mo playing out of his mind. And then Ashante said something really, really, actually, which is the most important part. They probably found their Josh Reynolds replacement, and he might be better if he stays healthy, and that's Tim Patrick. And I think that's something that you could look at and you could be like, maybe that was the missing piece.
Yeah.
And then obviously Laporta getting more healthy than,
Yep.
he obviously came into the year a little bit banged up and he's more healthy now. So all those things in conjunction, you got the last 3 games and it's shown real well.
Yeah. And Walt, guess
Yeah.
how many completions he had in the Rams win? 18. Wasn't on that graphic. I looked at. He had 8. He was
Man said,
18.
let me check if it was another 18.
Yeah, 18 for 28. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Hit
That's
me.
the sweet spot. That's right.
Grab.
And he's like a dealer. You go to blackjack table or
Yeah.
you playing Uno or dominoes, whatever. He's a dealer. He's dealing in right
Yeah.
hands right now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
I mean,
I
Yeah.
agree with you and Joe.
distributing the rock. So
I think he's comfortable in his skin with who he is at this point stage. Like
Yeah.
people got to remember, you don't hear it as much this year as you did last year and prior 2 years to that about, McVay got rid of him for a reason, and he's this and he's that, and he
Yeah.
failed in this situation, he failed in that. This dude, and I said it when we traded for him after year 1. I wasn't sold on him at that point in time, but I still gave him the benefit of the doubt because he was still a young dude just entering his prime. And I tried to persuade Lions fans to understand that the dude who the Rams had McVay had him when he was a baby. The
Mm-hmm.
Lions got him in his prime, just walking into his prime. And I think he understands what he is and what he isn't. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable now, pushing the ball to JMO. I think, Ashante, you brought that up. That makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, he. It seems like when you ask him to do too much, yeah, can he complete 28 passes? Can he complete 32 passes in the game? Sure, he can. But
Of
it
course,
seems
of
like
course.
that's still a high volume of throws because if he has 32 completions, chances are he threw the ball at least 47, 48 times. And
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those quarterbacks where the higher the volume, the less he gets out of rhythm. If you can keep him around 25 completions, I think he can still throw the ball 30 times, but you don't want 38, 39, 40 plus because that's when he tends to get out of rhythm because if he's throwing the ball that much, the running game is being ignored. And he feeds off the running game. This passing game feeds off the running game. It all goes hand in hand. So, yeah, I think I'm cool with everything. I think
Mm-hmm.
at this point in time now, is he going to have a stinker? Another stinker the rest of the season? Sure, he may have 2 or 3 more stinkers. It happens
Mm-hmm.
throughout an entire schedule, but he's entitled to that because you look around the rest of this league, man, all these other quarterbacks entitled to stinkers.
I think
You
he
know, it's
might
going
have
to
had
happen.
him. I think he might have had his couple stinkers. To be honest with
It's
you,
gonna
I think
be
he
it's
about
gonna
to.
be difficult
Oh,
to
he
stay hot for
does.
like
He
13 games
does.
though. Like
I think
it's
he. I think he been getting ready to go on a run and on this part of the schedule. I say that. You know what I'm saying? I just think that you look at Minnesota, uh, uh, what's next? Tennessee, excuse me. Green Bay. You know what I mean? It's
they
getting
got a cold
cold.
game.
Yeah, Colts, you know what I'm saying? Jacksonville. I think he gonna have a huge chunk of this season, man, coming up here. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I think that um I just think with this team, I think the signings from like obviously it's we talked about the Aiden Hutchinson thing. I think that this if anybody can handle a situation that they're in right now is the Lions. I do. I think that this team is mentally tough. They haven't lost 2 games in a row in a while. It's been a while since they lost 2 straight games. That's coaching, man. That's the system. These guys believe, man. I do think that they have shown me as a obviously a line fan, but I just try to put my NFL perspective teams. And I mean, I'm just any podcast I can find that's talking about the Lions. I'm interested. That's not from here, and the consensus is what I hear. If you're not Florio, I think Florio he hates the Lions, but for the most part,
He hates golf. I
yeah,
don't think he
yup, he hates.
necessarily hates the Lions though.
I don't think
Yeah.
he hates Jared Goff. I agree with that.
No, he hates the
You know,
Lions too.
him. I think from
He
Chris
does.
Long, Howie Long's son, Chris Long, just said he unbelievable stat he pulled up. He said I look back the last 16, 17 games that the Lions played and they won, and last 16, 17 opponents. He says those opponents that they play all just fall into this funk, man, where they can't win a game afterward.
Yeah.
If you look at it this year, it's happened with Tampa, it's happened with the Rams, Arizona, Seattle. They were 3-0 when they played the Lions. Now they're 3-3. That type of thing. He just said this team mentally they make you quit, man. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that. I think the Cowboys quit. I think Arizona was just like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I think Seattle was just like trying to get the hell out of there on a Monday night after they felt that that game was over. They wanted to get it couldn't be over quick enough. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's levels to this, and I think the Lions are they're up here, bro. The rest of the
Yeah.
league is it's about I told you it's 4 or 5 teams I take serious. Everybody else is kind of like fighting for the secondary position, in my opinion.
All the Lions got to do is keep him clean because you got Van Geekel, okay,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
Jonathan
yeah.
Greenard, and then
Grenard, yep.
you got Dallas Turner out there making
Oh
impacts.
yeah, love Dallas
So
Turner. Yep.
so we rank last in sacks. We've only given up about 9 or 10 sacks this season. So as long as we can
Yeah.
keep him clean, keep him at that 18, and keep him clean, we good.
Yeah,
Well, the credit goes to Jared Goff too, because his pressure turned into a sack metric, whatever. Which is like if you get pressure and it turns into a sack, it's on you or is it on the offensive line? It's 9.2, which is like a league low in the NFL. Only Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith are around that angle. That's only two
And
quarterbacks that
them
are around
boys
that
running too. The
percentage.
boys is running. The boys is
Mm-hmm.
escaping.
No, it's more about staying in the pocket and not getting a sack, turning into pressure. That's what it is. But you know what's going to really help out Detroit a lot is this two high safeties that Brian Flores likes to
Mm-hmm.
do. He likes to put the safeties up high, and then they're going to kind of keep everything short. Well, guess what? That's
Play
going to
into our
play
hands.
advantage
Yep.
to St. Brown and JMO, because you know what JMO his last four biggest receptions have been
Mm-hmm.
crossers. And then there was one slant that was one of his biggest. I think that was against the Seattle Seahawks. But last week it was a crosser where he just burnt the shit out of Trayvon Diggs, which was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And then that's what they've been doing really good. They've been doing this. Usually you hear Jameson Williams when he gets a ball. Usually it's like like a streak or a fly or whatever. Now he's starting to do some. He's now that he has some chemistry with Goff. He's starting to get
Mm-hmm.
more.
Drop a pass, get it right back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I do want to say, I think Blake Cashman's out for the Vikings. Ivan Pace, which I love, Ivan Pace. That
Mm.
was my guy, man. Coming in the trap, I wish the Lions
I,
would have got him.
I
But
love them too.
yeah, Ivan Pace is a damn baller out there. But anyways, he's playing pretty much that lead guy, right? Well, Jonathan Grenard, they got him listed as a linebacker. But what I'm saying is Cashman, they're gonna miss him. He's been playing great. I think he's out for this game, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah,
yeah,
questionable or something like that. Yeah. So and then Avery mentioned Van Ginkel, which the guy makes play, reminds me of Anzalone. He's their version of Anzalone to me. Just because he's like the guy experience, it just no situation is gonna rattle him. And I think that this entire chess match with these two teams, they might be feeling each other out for a little while. And I think the second half is gonna tell a story to me. And it's gonna be funny because the Lions, the only thing about them is well, the last couple weeks we're worried about their third quarter offensive game plan. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they're behind in this game at halftime, how aggressive they are, or if they're ahead. You know what I mean? Let's just say, we're ahead of this in this game, going in at a half by 10 points or whatever like that. I think the biggest thing is to continue to keep the foot on the gas with the Lions, man. I think that's what we got to learn how to finish teams and just make them quit. You know what I mean? Make by the fourth quarter, this game is that type of
Yeah.
thing. If you got them down,
Yeah.
keep them down, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too cute or don't get too complacent or giving up a lot of yards, because a 13-0 game can turn 13-7 real quick and it'd be a different story. A different type of momentum. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
All right, let's move on to Brian Flores for a second.
Mm-hmm.
His matchup against our guy Ben Johnson has pretty much been the hot button topic on all football shows this all week. You got the genius of Ben Johnson versus the genius of Brian Flores, the experience of Brian Flores calling those defenses in New England as well as Miami. And he finally got his personnel together in Minnesota this year compared to what it was last year. Although they did lose a few people in free agency, but all in all, damn good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, what have you noticed from Minnesota and
You
Brian
know,
Flores defensively, and why they cause so many problems for quarterbacks?
I take it. I take it. Look, man. Look, when you blitz 105 times in 5 games, over 40% of the time defensive snaps, and the closest people to you is Denver because they have to blitz to create pressure with 94. You got another thing coming. He's really the most effective in blitzing in different ways, in high low schemes, in single high safety, two high safety. Um, I still don't understand why he head coach, but I guess that's what happens when you sue the NFL. But Minnesota just allowing 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits. You know, on their offensive side, and then him blitzing the heck out of everybody. That makes for a good thing. So this is year 2 of Brian Flores. It's going to be a Brian Flores 2.0. I'm sure he's got some more wrinkles in there. He's got a more understanding of his players. Obviously, you have Ivan Pace, and he has guys that can really challenge us. And he always blitzing somebody. So it's not just the linebackers, it's not just the safety, it's not just a cornerback. It could be anybody. And I just feel like he's one of those people that when you're going against the Detroit Lions high-powered offense, those crossers are going to be very effective against him. Um, I would say that Laporta and Amon should have good games. I'm not really concerned about JMO or touches. I just want to come out with a win. Uh, but the defensive pressure that he's getting, it's like at an absurd rate. 105 in 5 games. Like this guy is like he's getting massive pressure all the time.
Yeah. Shanti?
Yeah, just what Avery said. I think what was eye popping was I think a little bit of it's deceiving is the yards they give up. They give up a lot of yards, man. I think that's going to be something where if they do that against the Lions, that means that we're getting our rhythm. You know what I'm saying? As far as if you let us work the hash marks, from side to side, giving us as we were talking about those short, intermediate, 8-10 yards that St.Brown gonna eat this week. You know what I'm saying? Just what Avery was saying. And I think another thing I think they're maybe not looking at is you get that ball to Gibbs in space. I think that's going to be curtains too. I think hopefully it seems like the way they play is they like to over pursue because they are blitzing so much and you could outrun yourself out of a running play. And if you do that's playing into Gibbs' hands too as well. You know what I'm saying? Because all he has to do is maybe break one tackle instead of breaking three. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't get there by the first guy, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And Gibbs hasn't had that game yet. You know what I'm saying? This year, I mean, he's part of it, but he hasn't had the singular game himself, you know what I'm saying, where he's like, damn, he had 130 today, that type of thing, maybe because he
Right.
had a 70-yard run in there, you know what I'm saying? Him and David Montgomery's a perfect balance. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the big chunk plays from Gibbs, this could be a recipe for it because of how, like Lamar eloquently put it, that they like to over pursue and blitz a lot. That's amazing that they blitzed that many times in 5 games. I mean, and if they do that, Tim Patrick, a guy who can run a deep route and run intermediate, I just like what I see from number 17, man. You know what I'm saying? It just
Yeah.
seemed like he a big, as long as he stays healthy. So knock on wood, knock on marble in my case. You know what I'm saying? It just hopefully, he stays healthy. But yeah, Laporta, I like what I see. Laporta looks like he got a spring in his step, man. You know what I'm saying? That he's ready to go. Uh, Fantastic matchup this. So I think that, man, it's a shame this game should be like a
And
late
that's prime
game or something.
time, yeah.
Yeah, 425 or something like that. It's gonna be a great matchup, man. And I like Brian Flores. I think that, like you said, he's a teacher of men. You know what I'm saying? I think that these guys, he's got what he needs. Him and Aaron Glenn, two guys that it just seems like they have what they need at their disposal to show how
Mhm.
talented they are as play callers. And I think that uh it may even come down to this, guys, and y'all know this better than me. I mean, throw all the X's and O's out. It just may come down to the fourth quarter and who's got it and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna get that extra 2 yards, running the ball? Who's gonna, break a
People
tackle and
hyped up about this game, boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good matchup. I
PFF
really
was
do.
real hyped up. They were
Yeah.
a couple of days
This
ago. They were saying that this is
Yeah.
we're so privileged to have this matchup twice this year, and
Hmm.
Brian Flores versus Ben
yeah.
Johnson. Like
Yeah.
people are hyped up over this. I'm pretty sure the gamblers are too.
Wait, hold
I
up.
wish someone would have told us that the Vikings was gonna be this cold. I wish
Yeah.
someone on this podcast would have
Yeah,
just
would have
said
told
that.
us.
Here you go, man.
Here we go
The
again.
season
Oh
ain't
Wait,
man.
over with. Season ain't over
wait.
with.
Well, you tell
Joe,
me, you tell me,
what do
you
you
guys,
think, man?
you tell me you guys aren't really excited for Pittsburgh and the New York Jets.
We talking spread. We talking spreads, and I'm not talking Hellman's a miracle.
Yeah.
You
Man,
talking
We got to be
here's what
Devontae
talking
Adams?
spreads.
Yeah.
I think what Ashante said is what's the real deal. Because I went back and I watched some of the Minnesota Viking games. Well, I watched all of them, to be honest, in a row. Defensively, I watched them. And you know what stands out? Like I went back last year, and you know what Jameer Gibbs' best game was besides the Raider game, because they blitzed a lot too. The Vikings game, he ran for 80 yards on 15 carries. I think it was like close to like 4.5 and a half per carry.
Mhm.
But the one thing that you realize with this is like when they blitz him, Jameer Gibbs loves the blitz because what he
Mhm.
does
It
is
leak out.
he sees one crease and he cuts it. He cuts it really good. He's probably made for this game more than Dave Montgomery. I think this is going to be a Jameer Gibbs type of game.
Yep.
But when you look at like the running backs that the Vikings have faced, like look at them. Is Devin Singletary really a good back? Well, the Giants'
Nope.
offensive line sucks ass.
Mm.
Jordan Mason's pretty good, but you know whatever. They were playing when Joe Mixon was out there playing Cam Akers and Damian Pierce, which is nothing to write home about. And then the New York Jets can't run the ball to save their lives because they're busy passing 30 times. So
Skull
this
in
is
the
gonna
house. Tobacco.
this is gonna be a test for the Brian Flores philosophy because every time that he blitzes against these running backs, that like last year, I went back and I looked at when they struggled to stop the run, and it was guys that were like kind of elusive in the hole that could get
Yep.
outside, and that's what they struggle with. And then another thing that about Brian Flores is kind of it's a little bit magnifying is he doesn't change his philosophy. He just
Mhm.
keeps doing it. He said in his press conference that he's going to fight fire with fire because one of Jared Goff's best strengths this year is throwing against the blitz, and he's gonna keep blitzing. That's what you know he's gonna do. So you know Ben Johnson's gonna come up with a scheme. You know Brian Flores is gonna come up with a scheme. But I think really what this is gonna come down to is there's one player on the field that loves when teams blitz, and it's Ben Jameer Gibbs. If you look at his best games, I mean the Buccaneers game was one of his best in the playoffs. It was one of his best last year with the Vikings. Those are two teams that blitz at a high rate. He loves the teams that blitz because they just come in there and they over pursue and he cuts it upfield. That's what he does every single time.
Yep. Yep.
And the
And you
pressure's
do.
on. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that first guy you gotta tackle. If they can't if they're gonna have problems wrapping up in this game, they're gonna be in trouble, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because Gibbs can break. You know, the initial guy. What gets him is one guy grabs him, and then another three guys been pulling him down. I think that's been the problem. But if that first guy can't tackle him, they're gonna be in trouble. So I'm sorry, Avery. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to
Oh
cut you
no,
off.
you good. You good. It's gotta be a Jameer Gibbs game. I think that's a good point. And like, you know, as far as I can see, you know, this team in a nutshell loves to play cover two, variations of cover two, variations of cover three. They love to go two cover three shell, one high safety on the first down. That helps against the run. And then they go to cover two and cover two shell and start dropping a lot of zone. They either go max coverage, max blitz, exotic blitz. Like when you have a tendency to do that and stuff, and you don't want to change, I can expect that the Lions will try to find your weakness. So one drive might be let's get Gibbs in motion. Let's see if they can actually cover Gibbs with their cornerbacks or their safeties, or let's see, hey, can we run the ball with Gibbs? Can we do more screens because they're blitzing this much? How do we allow their tendencies to be a problem for them? And I think this is one of those games where I feel like the last game we played, it was a game of the week, but it really wasn't. It was a media blitz of the week. It was the Dallas Cowboys to show me the money, and Dallas will never be on Detroit's level. Come on now. But I feel like this game is a real game of the week because you see two coordinators going back to back, and we can say about Callahan and Aaron Glenn going back to back, and that's going to be a story too. But we got the best offensive mind in the league versus the best defensive mind in the league. First ranked offense against a defense that's taking away the ball 2.6 times a game on average, which leads the league. This is gonna be this is a
We got
show right
Vikings
here.
fans in the house.
Yeah. Skull. Yeah. Salute.
We
Salute,
got
Oh,
another
there's
fellas.
one.
too many of them. Look,
Yeah.
look. Oh
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
All
Yep.
right, hold up. Let me just
we let
say
him off
Yeah.
the hook.
Yeah.
let me just say this right off the hop. All these Minnesota fans, your skull chant sucks. That stupid
No,
megaphone
don't listen
sucks.
to him, man. It's cool, man. It's a great environment.
I
No,
like
don't
that
listen.
clap. I like that
Don't
clap. That,
don't
that
listen.
clap. That
he
clap
said
they
I
do.
like the
Don't listen
clap.
to
I like
Superior
the
Chant.
clap.
I'm being for
I like
real.
the.
That
I
skull
like.
chant sucks. It's almost as bad as the gold pack
Hey,
gold thing.
hey, I got a
I
friend.
like the horn though. The horn
Hey,
is okay.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, I got a friend, and he was telling me, and Joe Chap, you ain't gonna like this. I got a friend. He was telling me anybody who roots for the he's something we call a hotep. I got a friend. He's a hotep, and he said, you know what's the biggest insult to the NFL? What? The Vikings, bro. I was like, why? I
Over
was
the
like, why?
Browns.
You know, everybody got a cat, everybody got a dog or something, everybody got an animal or something. They got a pure white man as their mascot. He told me that
Vikings
yesterday.
actually did exist.
I'm like, what the? I'm like, he told me that yesterday. I flipped out, man. I was
And
like, wow.
and the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers.
Hey, the only thing that would be fitting, I hope the Lions got a nice little celebration. When they get in the end zone, like do a nice little river dance, or do Vikings do? I don't know. They probably don't dance, but
No,
I,
they
I
didn't.
just I just think that, man, like he said, the environment is great, and then when we won the division last year, you know what I'm saying, in their building, the atmosphere the crowd was unbelievable. I think Minnesota does has a home field advantage. They're one of the rare teams that do, you know what I'm saying, because I think a lot of those uh teams got fake home field advantages. You know what I'm saying? And they're the ones they do have one. You know what I'm saying? I really do. But yeah,
Yeah.
good environment. I love just they're in our division. Like Avery said, I think our division's real. I don't think it's fake. I do think that Minnesota maybe not 6-0 good. You know what I'm saying? They may not be 7-0 good or 8-0 good or anything like that. I think that right now they're 5-0. You got to give them their props, but
That's a little weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come on, man. What's the
But,
difference between 5-0 and 6-0?
the Lions. They about to be 5-1, just like we are. That type of thing.
It's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny Ashante mentions that this is a huge game for Minnesota. Let's not downplay this at any stretch of imagination, because they have a short week this week.
Yeah.
They go from playing the Detroit Lions to they go play LA Rams, which is not going to be an easy game with Matthew Stafford. And we all know the history of the Lions playing a team, and the next week they kind of like they're still struggling to play because it's a physical game. This is huge for Minnesota. Detroit has Tennessee. Tennessee is ass. Okay,
Yeah,
don't make any. I know people. There was people that were telling me that Tennessee was good, and I tried telling them, look, the Tennessee Titans are ass. Will Levis and his Mayo liking shit. He ain't good. I'm trying to tell you, this is a huge game for Minnesota, because if you look at their schedule, yes, they got LA Rams next. Their schedule's cake. It really is. They played no one the next 4 games. So if they get by these two hurdles of the Lions and the Rams, they might be golden, because they don't really play anybody until they play the Bears.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Couple things I did want to point out about Brian Flores and Minnesota Vikings and what they like to do defensively. Titling it Flores Madness. Of course, they like to hug the line of scrimmage. They hug the line of scrimmage. Most of the time, when they do hug the line of scrimmage, they're bringing at least 6 people. Flores doesn't like bringing 4. He's a 5 to 6 type of guy. Pause. So they will hug the line of scrimmage. Best way, well, there's some pretty easy ways to kind of handle that. But like I said, they like to hug the line of scrimmage pre-snap. A lot of times they will fire zone blitz out of that snap. Control chaos. Basically, all of this is built to enforce coverage sacks, and then they like to shrink all of the throwing lanes, which is pretty much defensively. There's a lot of philosophies he has in his defense that Mike McDonald had in the Baltimore Ravens defense last year, which was a big issue for Jared Goff and us offensively. If you look at some of his favorite coverages, you're talking about cover four palms, you're talking about quarters, Tampa two, cover two. He loves to create as many 2-on-1s on defense as possible, or at least as many as he can give the illusion of. And I say that because they will create a lot of illusions at the line of scrimmage. Like I said, they'll show you zero. He'll show you zero at the line of scrimmage, and then they'll bail out into quarters, which is crazy. He violates a lot of basic philosophies of coverages and defense, but you can't be great without going against the grain a little bit. You got to break a lot of rules. One solid way to really handle that type of defense, what he likes to do, which is contain chaos, is to create chaos offensively on your side of the football. And this is a big reason why I kind of believe that we win this game. And I think we win this game a little bit easier. No disrespect to Minnesota fans, but I think we win this game a little easier than people actually imagine. We run a lot of bunch formations. And Ashanti, you said something at the beginning of the video I agree with, and it stuck with me all video because I wanted to give you credit for this. This is about creating space. I used to listen to Sean McVay say this years ago. I used to say to myself, he keep talking about space, space, space. Now I get it. Because if you look at these defensive players in this day and age, safeties are hybrid corners. Corners are hybrid safeties. Linebackers are former safeties. Everybody, there's too many athletes out there, too many versatile guys out there in the secondary, as well as the box that can do multiple things. So you must put these athletes in space. So you have to create space offensively.
Mm-hmm.
When you run bunch formations, you create space when they're crowding the line of scrimmage easily. And I think once defenders see wide receivers are stacked, it forces them to commit leverages, meaning somebody's got to commit inside, somebody's got to commit to the outside receiver, somebody's got to commit down in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you force that safety into deep responsibilities for three different receivers on his half of the field. And I say his half of the field because Flores likes split field coverages. You
Yeah.
know, what defense coordinator in this day and age doesn't love split field coverages? So when you do that, like I said, this is a really good way to attack split field coverage, especially when you get that palms cover four look, which is one of his main looks that they love to give out of the quarters. They want to create 2-on-1s on defense. We want to create 2-on-1s on offense. And that right there to me is what really makes this chess match so special. And then also out of this formation, you're talking about look, against the defense, you have the ability. Sorry about that, but against the defense, you
Yeah.
have to attack those zones. And you only can do that by creating space. Also, out of this look, you create chaos. And you get the numbers advantages in the run game, forcing those DBs to come down against your wide receivers and your tight ends, because we will put two tight ends in that bunch as well, which will help us in the run game towards the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is murder against man, because everything I just said is basically against zone coverage in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. They
Yeah.
don't play a lot of man across the board. He may play man to one side, and then he may play palms to the other, or sometimes they'll play palms to both sides of the field. You don't want to be caught in man against that bunch formation,
Yeah.
because it
Yep.
leaves you exposed to all types of rubs, all types of mesh routes, and a bunch of big plays downfield. I'm not trying to disrespect Minnesota fans at all. I love y'all. I'm glad y'all tuned in. Y'all been great
Mm-hmm.
so far.
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
think that the issues we caused Minnesota last season offensively, I think where you can make the argument that we're not the same team offensively. You could make the argument we may be better. I think that even if the roster isn't better, the play calling is better. I think they're more prone to stick to what makes them successful. And I just don't see how Minnesota, I get what they do. They did it to Aaron Rodgers, did all these other teams. You'll be shocked at how many OCs out there are just brain dead. And they won't do the most basicest shit
Yeah.
to help their offenses out. There's no way the Jets should have looked like that. And I understand the Jets' offensive line isn't the best. Some of these quarterbacks look like their OCs never called a damn game in their life. against men. It's not like he's reinventing the wheel. Like some of these OCs look at what he does and it's like, well, which way do we go?
Yeah.
Like, well, what do we do? And I
See,
think,
this
and don't get me wrong, I'm not a professional OC. None of us are, but we do have, I think, football common sense. I think we look at what goes on. We can find holes in these defenses. We know for damn sure what our offense does well. Not to say that our ideas are the end all be all, but they are alternatives. I didn't see the Jets do a damn thing of what I just said at all. I didn't see Green Bay do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's obvious to me what we do well. We did it to them twice last season. I don't see it being any different. That's why I believe this game could get out of hand. And I think Detroit got a lot to prove too, man. We on the revenge tour this season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what the Vikings are gonna wear. If they wear their white jerseys, you know they got the white home jerseys, the
Helm.
skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like an all white little thing with the helmet and the thing. I wonder if they wear their throwbacks. They've been wearing their throwbacks a lot. I
Yeah.
just want to see the matchup because I need to know what my Lions are gonna be wearing because it's gonna be a show, man.
Yeah. 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 Because it's funny. I was just gonna, man, me and Avery was thinking the same thing. Because I see they have what they call it, a winter. They call it I don't know. I could be wrong. Correct me, Skull Nation. It could be like I think it's like a winter wonderland type uniform, where it's white helmets, the white Viking horn on it, and then all white jersey pants, the kite kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of sweet, man.
Yeah,
Just
the
iced
Winter
out.
Warrior. Yeah,
Yeah,
iced
Winter
out.
Warrior. Yeah. So I think Green Bay did the same thing too. They got all white like that with the green. But yeah, man, I agree. I think this is gonna be just a heck of a matchup, from top to bottom. And for me too is, I'm gonna be like and Avery said it. I'm getting it. Listen, the elephant in the room is Aiden Hutchinson not there, right? So we know what we've seen, right? We know what this team is capable of in other spots. I wonder if James Houston is going to get a real look this week. You know what I'm saying? Is the organization saying, okay, now we know what we got, and we're going to see, we're going to give this thing a trial run. We're giving James Houston, I'm just pointing James Houston out because he's a guy that's been DNP. It's not like I'm picking on him, but I'm just saying, like with him, it's like maybe they say, hey, we're going to give you, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before November 5th to show us, uh, you know, what kind of pressure you can bring with nobody looking over your shoulder, that type of thing. Now we have a defensive coordinator. We know Aaron Glenn can disguise some stuff and bring pressure from different places. I think that's what you have to do. I could see James Houston maybe uh if he's in there, maybe causing a little bit of havoc, maybe a sack, fumble, that type of thing. I mean, this defense really needs to have something positive happen, I think, in the first quarter, or some
Hmm.
juncture of the game. And like Joe said, I mean, we've had an interception in every game. So I do think that it's key. Something good's gonna have to happen, I think, early for us, because then we can get our feet up under us and know, because we know we scrappy, we know we're tough, we're not gonna back down. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the production to who's gonna line up. I mean, who's gonna line up to start the game at that position, for us on that side. You know what I'm saying? DJ Reader, Lee McNeil, but who's going to be the other guys? Are they going to go a combination of Pascal and Houston, or Anzarike, who's been great, and Pascal? What do y'all think? Like, who's going to be the guy that maybe just name a guy maybe who could step up and give us something? You know what I'm saying on that? To try to compensate for Aiden Hutchinson not being there.
Kirby Joseph on the back
Okay.
end, or
Uh,
Brian
uh,
Branch. No, yeah,
Anzarike and Wingo are going to be the guys on defensive
Yeah,
line, in my opinion.
I'm looking at the list. It's James Houston, Agude,
Aqua.
Muhammad Aqua.
No.
A lot of no names that can prove a point. A lot of
I
no names.
I
we
keep
talked about this earlier in the week. I think that when you lose that type of edge rusher on the perimeter, now your better players are obviously in the middle of that defensive line. We got to start creating more pressure on the interior.
Yeah.
And
yep.
then I brought up Kirby Joseph and Branch because Darnold will push the ball down the field. Listen, I
Yeah.
understand people who outside of Detroit, outside of Minnesota, who see the stats, they see the 5-0, they see the big plays to Jefferson, they see that Jefferson, Naylor, and Addison all average over 16 yards per catch. I get all that. But between those big plays and between them making big plays on defense, because someone said that in the comment section, Minnesota they've been making a lot of plays. They've been living off big plays, pick sixes on defense, big chunk yards to those wide receivers. If you can limit those things, especially with Darnold liking to push the ball down the field, down those seams, he'll take some risk. And I just wonder how many more picks does he have to throw before Kevin O'Connell starts to rein him in a little bit? Because listen, Carolina was winning with him when he first got there the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Then what happened? The more responsibility they gave that dude, the dude started turning the ball over everywhere. And then they had to
Mhm.
rein him back in. So I just look at it for what it is, man. I just don't think this is a good matchup for Minnesota. I just really don't. Can they still beat us? Can it still be a very tough game? Of course, I respect Minnesota that we playing there. They always play as tough.
Yeah.
Chicago always play as tough.
Yep.
But if you just look at it for what it is, I think Detroit is we're too dedicated to who we are offensively as well as defensively. We have enough corners, manpower to go match up with these dudes now. Other teams didn't have really those corners to go out there and shadow those boys all across the field. We can do that. We can put safeties on them. I think Terrion Arnold is a perfect I think Jordan Addison I think he's a perfect matchup for Terrion Arnold. If you look at the
Mhm.
size, the quickness, neither guy's really that fast straight line, so I don't think he has to worry about Jordan really cooking them deep. And then you can throw different bodies at Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
We probably talking about a lot of bracket. I would probably bracket him a lot, a good 60% of the time. And you want to kind of suffocate them, and you want to force Darnold to beat you with Jordan Addison and Jalen Naylor.
Yeah. One person we haven't talked about is freaking TJ Hawkinson.
Why
This,
do we have to?
He might not play.
He might not play. I don't know.
He's questionable, so
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll
that'd be
be.
upgraded.
Yeah. They
Hey,
haven't had him.
if we bracket that guy, TJ Hawkinson can get inside, make a move.
Let's get into
Have-
some numbers real quick. We're gonna get into the predictions on this show, on this
Yeah.
game, as well as the over under and two more games real quick before everybody got to get out of here.
okay.
Ashanti, what's the numbers on this game?
I want to say it's 1.5.
Vikings.
Minnesota. Yep. And then 50 is over and under, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Per
50 is the numbers right now is plus 1.5 for Detroit, so they're underdog. It's plus 110 if you want the money line for Detroit,
Mhm.
which is probably the best way to go. And over under is 50.5. So you're right.
Yeah. Yep. To make some money, so you could just straight up put something on the Lions, and then you probably gonna make some money this week. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because it's a plus type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a dinner bell like that Gibbs Montgomery
Yeah.
last week
You
was
said it's like this easy money, like it's
easy money.
Once you
So
start talking about that
No,
1.5, man,
No,
and like
what he's saying though is if you're gonna take the spread, you might as well take the a money line because it's juice, so it gives you a
mhm,
little more juice. You're not
that's
gonna
right.
make the same money out off the spread, so you take the money line and you put whatever you want with it.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
thought he was saying like, oh yeah, you're just gonna make money because the Lions gonna win. This is easy. This is a drop in the bucket.
well, if they
No,
if they win, I'm sure they're gonna win by more than 2 points.
yeah, I mean, it might as well be. It could be close to like a pick 'em too, but yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
I had to go first, real quick, I know
Yeah.
Avery's gotta go, but
No,
yeah.
you're
So the
good.
Lions, I think the Lions are gonna win this game. Just straight up. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything. Man, broken tube, man. I like the confidence. I'm confident in my team too. I think it'll be a little bit closer now. I'd be shocked if we score 36 on this team. Man, look out. Rest of the league just better just pack it up, man. If they score 36 in this one, I'd be impressed. I mean, I'm impressed now, but y'all get what I'm saying. But I'm gonna say the Lions are gonna win this thing. I'm gonna say walk off. We haven't had a game where we had to walk one off and win by a field goal. I'm gonna call this one. I'm gonna say the Lions gonna win this game 28-24. No, 28-27. We get the ball late. get down there and do what we got to do and get a field goal. So I'm gonna go 31-28. 31. I'm sorry, not 28-27. 31-28 Lions. We win on a field goal.
Lamar, what you got?
Well, I'm pretty much 6-0 with betting on the Lions this year, so I'm nobody. I think the Lions do win the game, not because I'm a homer. I actually anticipate the Vikings to really give them a run for their money.
Yep, it's gonna be a
But
tight
I
game.
I think this gonna come down to the foot of Jesse Bates. Oh,
Yep.
Jake Bates, my bad. It's gonna come down to the foot. It's gonna come down to a kicking
Yep.
situation. This is such a good game, whether it's high scoring or low scoring. I think it's come down to one kicker, and
Yep.
I think they got a decent kicker. But Jake Bates, at the end of the game, when we get the ball back, we like to take it in the second half.
That's what. Man, we on lockstep, Avery. I feel
Yeah,
something.
lockstep. Look, I feel something too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, as we were talking, the odds change. It's plus 100 now, so it's about to become even money. So if you are gonna take that,
Take
money
it
line,
now. Do
take
it now. Do it
Take it
now.
now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Good.
I think the Lions are gonna win too. I just think that you gotta just look where the money is going. Okay, I always look where the money is going because that's the way it usually goes. The sharp bettors are in Detroit like insanely. It's like 72% Detroit Lions on the spread. It's 82% on the sharps for the money line for the Detroit Lions. So that's what you got to go to. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a big game, in my opinion. I think you got to say Amon-Ra gets pissed off every time he plays Justin Jefferson. So you got to say he's going to have a pretty big game. But I think the guy who's really going to have a big game in terms of he's going to sway the game either way, it's going to be Jameson Williams. Because if Jameson Williams gets out, he breaks coverage once or twice, he's gone. Like he said it. Like he said it when he was mic'd up against Dallas. He's like, bro, they better run a 4 flat if they're gonna come catch me. Like he knows that if he gets the ball in open space, he's gone. Like he's gone. So
I think the Vikings know that too. That's why it's gonna be interesting to see if we all know how stubborn Flores can be.
But
When you have a game changer out there like that, do you change anything?
But what are they gonna do? Because they got old ass secondary. They got
I know.
Harrison Smith.
Hey, they gonna show zero, then bail in the quarters.
I
mean,
told Joe Walt. I told Walt Joe. I told him Harrison Smith is a shell of himself, dude.
I like
They-
Harrison though, man.
they ain't
Harrison a
gonna-
damn good player, bro.
And Byron Murphy, for all he's been really good. But the problem with him
He ain't
is
running either.
he ain't fast.
Mhm.
So once you get in a track meet, bro, it'd be like me trying to catch him. I'd be like, hell no, bro, he ain't catch
Yeah.
shit. You know what I'm
Whoa, get back here.
saying? Wait just a minute.
Hey man, Lamar, you gotta go, brother. I appreciate you coming on the show this morning,
Yeah.
man. You bring a vibe, man. Plug everybody, let them know what's going on.
Oh yeah, I'm Avery Giovanni Spirit Detroit podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. But my first name's Lamar, my middle name's Avery. People call me all types of different things. It's all good. You can find me on YouTube. Also, you can find me on DFN, Detroit Lions fan page, DLFN, Detroit Lions fan page news, and you can find me all there. Releasing some videos today as well as a live stream later today. But it's just good to be on this show. Pretty soon. Hey, look, if I ever hit the lotto, guys, we're gonna start our own little show. All right. If I ever hit the crypto lotto, and if I ever feel like, if I ever just cash out my Bitcoin, I'm just coming to y'all. We're gonna start a show and we're gonna go on the road with it. This is a great show. This is great.
Oh, you mean we all gonna get to sit at the same table with our own personal MacBooks?
That's it.
Like everybody on TV, we all got our own Shure mics at the table.
I tell my wife I'm cashing out the Bitcoin for retirement. I'm gonna retire and do a podcast.
See how that go.
Oh man!
All right, now love y'all.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right,
appreciate
all
you.
right, brother. See you. Here.
I'm gonna throw mine out there. I got 27-17 Lions. If there was a different guy at quarterback for the Vikings, I might feel a little different. I think what we do defensively, considering fact, Brady broke it down to what last Sunday, basically what we do. Very sticky in the secondary. Will we give up a play every now and then? Sure. People talk about Carlton Davis and how he stinks and he's this, he's that. He'll give up a play, but he'll also make a monster play later on in the
Mhm.
game. He may make a monster play 3 plays later. Meek Robertson, same type of guy. Ennis Rakestraw, super cat quick, same type of guy. Terrion Arnold. One thing he showed me, has he committed his penalties, his share of penalties, first half of the season? Sure. Has he been burnt on some plays? Sure. But he still competes and he makes up for it. I think we have enough bodies at corner to match up man for man with them. Also, in comparison to what Brian Flores does defensively, I think Aaron Glenn does a lot of those same things. We don't blitz nearly as much. Now, will he decide to blitz more? This will be the first game post Aiden Hutchinson to see what type of adjustments he makes. But I just think what's going to happen is, and another thing too, and I say this about every opponent we went up against, except for Tampa. Tampa is the only team that did it and beat us, and it was a fluke because we had too many opportunities to go 1 for 7 in the red zone. That's not going to happen to this
That's
type of
hard as hell
offense.
to do.
Yeah, that's not going to happen to this offense that often. Minnesota doesn't want to run the ball, and they don't run the ball very well. If you're going up against us and you don't want to run the football, and I keep saying this, there's only like 2 teams in the league I think that's really going to match up against us because they refuse. They have a battle of wills that they're willing to match with us. If you don't want to run the football against us, because we're going to run the football on you, we're not going to abandon it. So, Vikings fans, if you don't want to run the football and you're banking on Sam Darnold making all of these plays downfield, you're asking for a loss. Plain and simple. And
Mhm.
you know, when you look at it for what it is, I think we stand a better chance at scoring on them than they do on us over 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got, like I said, I'm taking Lions, of course, 27-17, and I'm taking the over.
Over is good. I like that.
Yep. Me too. Over.
50.5 is like just a 24-27 game, so you're good there.
Ashanti
Yeah.
making people money out here.
Yeah.
We gotta start charging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just joking, YouTube. Just joking.
Yeah. Yeah. Just if we want to wrap up this game talk before we're gonna do our two game pick today, and then we're gonna do our Lions betting right for this week, right? Yeah, can
Oh
Joe
yeah,
stay for that?
yeah. I know you want to hit those other 2 games.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I got it. Still, my text to you if you don't have. I don't know if you made a graphic for it, Walt.
Oh, for the Lions, the Lions bets.
Yeah,
I
if
got you.
we'll, yeah, the first one was Jameer Gibbs, 40 plus yard. These are according to
40 plus.
DraftKings. 40 plus yards receiving in this game is plus 310 right now. Man, that's one right there, Joe. I mean, I don't know. You gotta believe that Gibbs can get something done, productively in a passing game this week. You know what I'm saying? With an over aggressive defense.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's something that I'm looking at that one. Sam Laporta, another one, because I think Sam is back. Sam ready to
Mhm.
ball. 50 plus yards for plus 130 as well. You know what I'm saying? Just a couple receiving. Was nothing really on the rushing end. Sam Laporta, Gibbs in the receiving area, and then to mark this down, put an asterisk by it this week, guys. I got a feeling anytime's Lions defense touchdown is plus 475 this week.
Mhm.
Sam Darnold, turnover king, man. Brian Branch damn near took one to the house last week. I think Brian Branch is a different type of dude, man. Pro Bowl season written all over it right now. Him and Kirby Joseph lead our leading combination in the league in interceptions. I just feel something good defensively is going to happen for us. You know what I'm saying? And we take one to the house, or fumble recovery, scoop and score, that type of thing. So I'm all over this Lions D anytime touchdown plus 475. So
Yeah, I got something that I got like a little parlay that I put together. Jameer Gibbs anytime touchdown. Jameer Gibbs over 51.5 rushing yards. I think Jameer Gibbs gonna have a big game. And then Jared Goff over 250 yards passing. You go look back at the passing yards, like the how he's done. He's hit that 100% of his time in the last 4 games against Minnesota. He's hit 4 of the last 5 away games, which is at 80%. And we know that Minnesota's defense ranks 30th in pass yards against.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put that together, you might as well put St. Brown getting his 6.5 receptions, which is not a bad number to do. And you come at around a plus 753. So just something to kind of like give you a little bit of juice. If you want
Yeah.
to add the lines up money line, you could do that. But that's
Yeah.
kind of like what I look at, because I look at this game, man. I see like Jameer Gibbs is obviously going to have a big game, in my opinion, because 51.5 is a low bar, because they don't know who's going to run the ball every week. So he has big games against teams that like the blitz, and this is a perfect opportunity to say Jameer Gibbs right there. And I do like your 40 reception yards, but I would just do the over under, which is at, which I think their over under is at, what's his over under at right now?
Who's that?
Nine
Who's that?
his
Oh.
Jameer Gibbs over under right now is at 19.5. You just take that shit right now. So
Yeah, and that's Walt. It was anytime defense Lions touchdown. Well,
Yep, yep.
plus 475. Yeah, yep. And then quickly, just a couple games. I would just want to highlight Kansas City, San Francisco. Oh no, you got it. Okay, good work, Walt. Yeah, over and under 48. Man, I'm digging the Houston. Y'all know how I feel about the Packers, but I think Houston gonna win, man. I got a feeling Houston gonna go in there and win. Remember, they came to Minnesota and got thrashed 34-7. I think it was week 2. I think Houston gonna bounce back and win this game tomorrow. I think the weather's gonna be decent in Green Bay. Over and under 40. I'm expecting a high scoring game. +3, Green Bay -3, but I'm taking Houston outright to win this game. I think the money line is if you want to make some money on this one, I think Houston is plus 124 on the money line on this one. I like the Texans. Yeah.
Joe.
I like the Texans too. You look at the Texans, and I don't know. I think the last time they came up north, which was to play the Minnesota Vikings, they got spanked. I think D'Amico Ryans has something. He always has a good defense against the Packers. I don't know what it is, but he did it with San Francisco. He's going to do it again. I think they're going to be. If you're not going to take the money line, take the spread. Three is an easy one.
Yep. I'm gonna
Broken tooth, and don't say that. Hold on. Don't say that, broken tooth. Don't say that. No,
What do you mean?
no way. Plus 475. But that's that. Don't listen to me. Go ahead, Juan. I'm
Man,
sorry.
no, I'm gonna be the oddball on this. I'm gonna take Green Bay at home with the -3. I think Jordan Love, from what I've seen the last couple weeks, I think Jordan Love is starting to hit his stride a little bit. I loved his ability to make plays downfield with his arm, as well as move off platform, as well as pick up yards on the ground. When I look at Houston right now, I think teams have not really figured them out. I just think that Stroud is going through some second year hiccups.
Yep.
Like a lot of young quarterbacks do. Things came real easy to him. Year 2, team got you figured out a little bit now. They've watched Ohio State film on you. They watched a year of you within D'Amico Ryan's offense in Houston. And they also know Houston likes to push the ball down the field. They pushed the ball down the field more than any other team in the league last year. Teams are squatting now more. Everybody's playing more quarters. Teams are playing more exotic coverages against him. You saw how bad and confused he looked against Brian Flores' defense, which is okay. It's okay for CJ Stroud, a second-year quarterback, to look confused against a Brian Flores defense. I just think they're working hard to make sure this kid doesn't just push the ball downfield to Nico Collins and Tank Dell and these guys all day to us. So I do think Minnesota wins this game outright by more than 3 points, simply because I just think Minnesota, they look more comfortable right now. I think Houston is still, not to say Houston can't still be a Super Bowl contender later on in the season, but I think right now Houston's still getting their footing under them, and they're still figuring out how teams are defending them differently now on a week-to-week basis. So, like I said, I'll take Green Bay, and I'll take Green Bay, of course, to cover those 3 points.
I'm taking my pick back. I didn't realize that Jimmy Ward's out for Houston. Algier is out for Houston. Henry Toho is out for Houston.
Is it
So
Nico out too with the hamstring? Or is Nico playing?
Nico, I thought Nico was playing, right?
No, Nico is on injury reserve right now. So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So they got no Nico, no Robert Woods, no Toto, no Algier, no Kamari Lassiter. Jimmy Ward is also out. So that's a lot of injuries, especially in the defensive end. So I'm going to be taking the Packers at the -3 because that's too much, man.
I'm
That's way
sticking with
too
him,
much.
man. I think they get. I think we can get some pressure on Jordan Love this week. You know what I'm saying? If you're Houston, you know what I'm saying, and cause some problems. You know, I'm gonna keep my pick. I'll go with Houston still.
I just look at those two linebackers and I go, nope, no way.
All right. What about this one?
Yeah,
Don't
I got.
touch a 1.5 ever.
Yeah, can't stand it. I like the Chiefs in this one all day, man. Just for maybe for the same reasons why we kind of switched to Green Bay, Joe, because I think McCaffrey's still out, and
Hmm.
it's just they're gonna need him. You know, I mean, in the uh, what's the guy? I can't think his name on top of my head. The guy's been running the ball super well for San Fran, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm still not. I'm not a Brock Purdy fan anyway. Not because I'm salty. It's just I don't think that he's that great. You know what I mean? Kansas City gonna find a way to win, man. Like I said, nice weather. That's not gonna be a factor as well. Yeah, Justin May, he's out too. Yeah, I mean, I like the Chiefs in this one. They're
Jeremy
still,
know everything, man.
yeah,
Jeremy,
I
you
know
need to be on
Jeremy
here
is like,
every single show. You can give
I,
us the rundown on
I don't.
everything.
We need to get Jeremy on here. You know what I mean, and kind of give us
No,
his.
Mason's not out.
He's not out. Oh,
No.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Scratch everything I just said, Jeremy. You stink.
Yeah,
No, I'm
it's gonna
joking.
be an under. I think it's gonna take the under though. I don't know if it's Kansas City hasn't been that sound on offense where they're putting 30 on people.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I think the 47 is gonna be a number that's gonna be hard to hit in this game. So I'm gonna just give it to the Chiefs. I think a late. They may win six by a touchdown, something like that, 6 or 7 points. So I'm going with Kansas City in this one.
Chiefs are 21. I mean, Andy Reid is 21-4 off the bye. So I'm taking the Chiefs because the 49ers are missing. This is who they're missing. They're missing their two kickers. They had Jake Moody, who's out right now, and Matthew Wright, who they just signed, is also out. And Jawan Jennings, who I think is one of the linchpins of that offense in terms of he's like the sneaky kind of wide receiver that gets open all the time. He's out this week. And the only person that's out for the Chiefs is Mike Dana, which is not really like something that you're going, oh my God, Mike Dana's out. So give me the Chiefs, give me Patrick Mahomes in the 1.5. I think this spread's weird because of 1.5, plus one and a
Yeah.
half. It's pretty much telling you pick this game because you know they're juicing it for the 49ers being at home. That's all they're doing. Like when you see a 1.5 when a team's on the road, it usually means that all the people that are betting on that one team know that the Chiefs are going to be winning because there's you never really see a 1.5 if it's a good team, two good teams. But if the 49ers are at home, you know what I'm saying? They're missing Christian McCaffrey, they're missing Jawan Jennings. They don't have any kicker right now. It's tough for the 49ers right now.
Are
Yeah.
you trying to make money? Because if you're trying to make money, I mean, most people are still who aren't going to stay away from this game. They're going to pick the Chiefs. Most people do believe the Chiefs are going to win. I just think the Chiefs, man, they play down. Well, are they playing down to everybody, or are they just getting everybody's best effort, or are they just playing as Andy Reid just playing the type of football he feels is required to win in saying during the regular season? But they're not blowing anybody out. Offensively, they don't look all that impressive. Defensively, they're solid. I think on the road, Shanahan, damn good coach. Can he scheme? They don't look as bad as you would think they would look, considering the amount of
Mhm.
players they're missing. I would take because you're not betting. It all depends on what you're going to bet on this game. I would probably take Frisco because I can see Frisco winning 23-20. I can
Mhm.
see something really. I can see something really close. Frisco at home. This is a big revenge type game for them, even though they're missing a ton of players. They're going to play hard in this game. I can get
Oh
that.
yeah.
And it's Mahomes and the Chiefs offensively not really playing up to the caliber of some of the talent they may have on the perimeter. Kelsey's just sleepwalking out there. I can definitely see because I think this game means more to Frisco than it means to Kansas City too. I
Oh
would
yeah.
take Frisco to win this game, and I would take them. I would take the under actually.
You know what's weird though? Andy Reid's 4-0 against San Francisco. Something
Yeah.
got it. Something has to give, man, because he's
Mhm.
really good against Frisco. It's just I can't take the 49ers. I don't know what the deal is with the 49ers, but the defense doesn't look the same. The offense doesn't look the same, obviously, with Christian McCaffrey out. It just looks wonky. I'll take the Chiefs because Andy Reid is a magician after the bye, and then he's 4-0 against the 49ers. So I'm just like, all right, cool.
See, Jeremy knows everything. Taylor Swift is also in concert in San Francisco tonight, so she'll be in attendance. Oh man. All right, so it's official. All three of us believe the Detroit Lions will beat the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow. I
Yep.
think I got them by 10 points. I know 10 points is you don't see too many 10-point spreads, even though that's not the spread, but you don't see too many 10-point plus blowouts in the league. And typically when you do, it's from a game you didn't expect it from. I don't think
Yep.
anybody expects a 10-point left or right in this game, whether it's Detroit or Minnesota. But I do think Detroit is better than Minnesota. I think Detroit's got a lot to prove. They've got a lot to prove because, they hear to everything too. And I think Campbell's starting to coach with a little chip on his shoulder. So has Ben Johnson.
Yep.
They hear what's said about them.
Yep.
And going into Minnesota, we've said before, this team, you almost have it at a point now where we trust this team on the road more than we do at home in some cases.
Yep.
This team I have no fear that this team is going to lay an egg against Minnesota. If they lose, it's going to be a damn close game. That's how I view it.
I agree too.
So,
And
any
I
closing
think
comments, fellas?
just let Sam Darnold make mistakes because if he sits back in that pocket with no blitz, he is awful. I went through the numbers. I'll post it on the page. Every time you leave him just sitting back there to make his own decisions, he's like a kid that's in a candy store. He's gonna pick everything and go broke. That's what he does. So that is what I would look at with Sam Darnold.
Shanti.
Defensive touchdown. It will be a defensive Lions touchdown in this game.
I agree 100%. They if they do the 10-point thing, like you saying, Walt, they're gonna get a defensive touchdown because that's what's gonna be the difference in the game. Because once you get a defensive touchdown, I think Detroit's I think they're 6-0 when they get a defensive touchdown, which is pretty wild.
What's the gamble? Who gets it?
It's gonna be Brian Branch.
Brian Branch, yeah. I was thinking more so strips. I just got a feeling it's gonna be a strip sack type of thing. I'm gonna give
DJ
it to
Reader. The scoop and run.
No, yeah, scoop and run.
Yeah, McNeil, earn your contract.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go with Kirby Joseph, sticky good with the football, man. Especially in the red zone. I'm gonna go Kirby Joseph, defensive touchdown.
That'd be crazy. Yeah.
All right,
Joe, you the man, Joe.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Plug your show, Joe.
Detroit Lions News podcast. I was on last night. If you want to go watch it, it's Detroit Lions News podcast on Apple, Spotify, on Detroit Lions News podcast on Facebook, and then I'm getting a new Instagram, so that'll be cool too. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, and then Joe Chap on Facebook too, Twitter.
Wonderful. I want to thank everyone for joining us again this Saturday morning. This is nothing but fun for us. Getting up this early, talking football with everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining us, listening in. I see the listeners, the subscribers got pretty high today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Skull Nation.
Oh, yeah, man. Y'all and Skull Nation, y'all were great. Y'all were great. It's all fun. We all love our football teams. We're not about disrespect here, and I'm glad you guys, Seattle Seahawks fans as well, a couple weeks ago, they came on. Yep. Seahawks fans were great. We all love our football teams for that, man. It's all fun and games. So, like I said, everyone enjoy your weekend, and one pride for the Lions.